Hey, so I don't like the title pastor, and I wanted to just take a real quick minute and explain why people don't call me pastor. I'd prefer them not to call me pastor. There's actually a really good biblical reason for that. I want to get to it in just 1 second, but before I do, I want to clarify what I mean. I don't mind when people say, hey, that's Grant, he's the pastor of LifeBridge, or he is a pastor, because you're just describing what I do for a living, right? So it's just like, hey, Larry over there, Larry is an accountant, or Pam over there, Pam's a plumber. And why did I pick Pam to be a plumber? I don't know, because we're breaking stereotypes. That's what we're doing here. But so yeah, you're just describing what I do for a living. And what I do for a living is I am a leader of a church and I am a pastor, okay? What I don't like is when you put it as an official title in front of my name, like Pastor Grant. Or what's even the worst is when you replace my identity completely and you just call me pastor. Have you seen Pastor? Is Pastor in today? Maybe we should ask Pastor where this vase should go. I don't like that at all. And like I said, there's a biblical reason for it. Jesus said in a very, very black and white statement to religious leaders, in Mathew 23, verse 8, he says, "But you are not to be called Rabbi," which just means teacher, "for you have one teacher, and you are all brothers. And do not call anyone on earth Father." Don't call anybody on earth Father, again in a religious sense, not like, hey, Dad, but I mean like, hey, don't call any religious leader Father, for you have one Father, and he is in heaven. Nor are you to be called instructors, for you have one instructor, the Messiah, or Jesus. The greatest among you will be your servant, for those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Now, I don't think that every pastor that allows himself to be called Pastor Dan or pastor, I don't think that they're exalting themselves necessarily, but it's always kind of stuck in my craw, because what this is teaching and what Jesus is communicating is that when you give somebody that title, that role as instructor or teacher, what you're really doing is you're replacing God. You're replacing God's role as your teacher and your instructor in your life. And you're really, here's what people do to us all the time. They do this to me, and some of us like it, and some of us hate it. They raise us up as pastors above everybody else, and you're not just another brother or sister who believes in faith and has faith in Christ, but all of a sudden you're this special person that's like really close to God. And that becomes a problem because we pastors then get in the way between you and God. And so I just want everybody in the world to know I'm just another schmuck that has found God's grace, and I believe God's called me to be a pastor and to teach and to preach and to aid people in their relationship with God. But I'm no different than any individual, and I should not have any title. So if you don't know what to call me, if you ever see me or you see me online or whatever, just call me Grant.